Matt and I were talking about this. It's cool that it's like the next generation, like kind of the main founding people. Most of us are gone.
Yes.
And the fact that interstate is still happening and it's taking
Yeah.
on new flavors, is awesome. And it's cool to see God work in the next generation, and because we are in the next generation of interstate right now.
All right, you guys, welcome back to the Interstate Podcast. This is going to be crazy. We have the episode of the year probably, and I'm so excited. So let's get to know our guests. First, we got co-host Brianna.
Hello.
How you doing, Brianna?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here with us. And we have our special guest of the day, Ryan Herring. What's up, bro?
Hello.
Let's go.
What's up?
Let's go.
What's up, guys? So excited to be here with you.
Dude, when's the last time you've been in Dixon?
I can't even remember. It's got to be at least 5 years. At least 5 years since I was in Dixon. I think the last time I was at Dixon was when I spoke for that camp, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
About 5 years ago.
About 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So we're talking about it at lunch right before this. I left Dixon 10 years ago.
Wow. Whoa. What? Really? 10 years,
It's been
dude?
10 years.
Dude.
Since I've been in Dixon.
Oh, my gosh. So, Brianna, you don't even know Ryan at all?
Well, I had the honor of being at that last camp you spoke at.
Oh, that's right.
That was my first year.
And what grade were you in?
I was going into 7th.
What? Okay. We can't go deep, but tell me something you remember from chapel from Ryan. Like what? Give me something.
Well,
that
I
stuck
actually
out.
have my notes right here.
No.
So.
Way.
What? Okay. Hit us
I don't
with-
even have my notes.
I don't
for that,
either.
So that's crazy.
My notes are gone, I think.
All right. Something that really stuck out to me from that was stop living for culture and start living for the kingdom. And
Dude.
it was definitely a big thing for me, especially then getting back into school after COVID. It's like you got to stop trying to follow those trends and start living for Jesus. And that kind of just called me awake again. I mean,
Yeah.
it was crazy.
That's so awesome.
That's so
Yeah.
good.
That's good.
Dude, you did a good job at that camp.
Dude, finally I got one right.
Yeah, that camp went well, I think. The speaking was good, and I don't remember much. It was a while ago, but it was good. It was really good. Well, we're going to start the podcast like we do every single time. How was Tuesday? So first, Ryan, when did we do Interstate when you were here? What day of the week? I don't
So we did Tuesday.
Oh, dude.
So I think we did
Full
Tuesday. And
circle.
I think we did it intentionally because by design, Interstate was,
Yeah.
one of those things where we want to include other ministries, and Wednesday seemed to be like the night that every youth ministry wanted to do their own thing.
Yes.
So by doing it on Tuesday, we were like, you know what, that maybe we'll open up some doors and connect with some other churches.
That's interesting. I didn't actually know that.
Yeah.
We didn't do Tuesday forever, but we do it now Tuesdays. So Brianna, I wasn't there. I'm sorry.
I wasn't there either.
And Ryan wasn't there.
No.
Go walk us through what you guys did Tuesday.
All right.
Which, side note, I'm super excited to hear what Interstate is like these days.
That's actually a good point. Yeah.
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 Let's
What'd you
see.
guys do?
We try to remember what game it was, but we played our game and then there wasn't worship, and so we went straight into the lesson and we just opened up with prayer. We just had a group of everyone just pray for each other and pray each other in, and then we went and dove into the Trinity actually.
Oh.
Nice.
So it was a lot of information, but
Yeah.
a bunch of we actually don't fully understand this, and I don't think we actually can.
Dude, I don't
So-
understand the Trinity. I'll just say it right now. I can't put my head around the Trinity.
It's pretty wild. It's a pretty wild concept. Yeah.
The thing that gets me, I've been thinking about this lately, equal. So if it's just God, right? Just different forms of God or different roles or whatever. So each are equal. The Holy Spirit isn't less
Yeah.
than God the Father, or Jesus isn't less, which is mind-blowing because I feel like we set that up in a way. The church sets it up in a way where it's like God the Father, all that really matters.
Yeah.
The other guys just sort of help him out, you know.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah, and I think that you'll find different churches that, you know, don't perfectly encapsulate the full Trinity and understanding that, yeah, it's more than just God the Father.
Yeah.
You know, it's God the Son and it's God the Holy Spirit. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
good.
I don't understand it. It's too much. It's too big.
As a pastor, I don't know what this is about.
Any of it. I don't get it.
I don't know.
It's over.
No.
Podcast
that's
is
super
over.
good. Yeah, podcast is over. We're
Brianna,
done.
take us
Oh,
off.
Brianna. So what? I mean, I'm curious. So you talked about the Trinity. So what? What was your takeaway out of that?
I like that.
I don't know. Well, I like everyone else, I'm not going to fully understand it. But something that really got me thinking was, it was Paul Sheldon, and he said that it's from God the Father, through Jesus, and by the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great
I
way to
like
say that. Yeah.
Oh, I really
That's
like
good.
that. That's so good.
Okay, so side
yeah,
note,
go
just
ahead.
other quick question on that. So you said it was Paul
Mm-hmm.
Sheldon. Really, I think what's also really important is how is his beard looking these days? That's really what I want to know.
Well, it is not as long as it has
Oh
been
my
in
gosh!
the past.
Like how long is his beard?
He keeps it pretty groomed, dude. I think you'd be surprised. He's a sharp-looking man these days.
With a groomed beard?
Yes.
Interstate, you got to revolt.
Where have you been?
Revolt until the beard is fully grown back.
He was a little John the Baptist, like.
I loved
your
it.
day,
I loved
yeah.
it. Oh man, it was great.
We had, I think it was your era, where his beard was like a character of Interstate.
Yeah.
His physical beard played a role.
When I grow up, I want to be Paul's beard. That's it.
Not Paul.
Just no.
The beard part.
Paul's okay, but his beard, man, next level.
Oh man, we were talking at lunch about shaving when Matt Johnson and Paul shaved their facial hair. We were like, sacrilegious.
No.
Take it all back. Send it back,
Oh.
please. So Interstate, I think it's shorter is the big difference from when you were here. We only do an hour and a half, but you know, kids stay late.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been back from Interstate before 9 o'clock.
We could cut Interstate off at 7 and kids would still be there till 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably pretty normal. What was your favorite game back in the day? Because I bet you we still do it occasionally.
You know, I mean, that's a great question. I would say, and this might be a boring answer, but I would say my favorite game that we ever did was the Nerf war. I mean, with the PVC pipes. And, you know, I remember the first time we fogged up that auditorium at Calvary. And I think someone called the fire department. Someone thought that the building was on fire.
Actually, yeah.
But yeah, Nerf war is just so epic in that building. Do you guys still play it?
Sadly, no.
We
done
played
it like
that at Lock-In.
Yeah, we did it at the Lock-In.
Yeah.
It's like a special event now.
Mm-hmm.
Since the night's shorter, we can't do those epic, huge games anymore. But
so we did Nerf war was a good one, and then you know, I'm always a sucker for some Kajabi Can.
Dude, that we don't do that one either. All the older kids are like, "This is why Ryan was great. This is exactly why." Yeah, we don't. Did you? I feel like was Taser your idea? Who invented Taser?
So Taser was a combo between me and Nick Pokswinski.
Okay.
So we wanted to we were gonna call it murder, and then we're like, maybe we shouldn't call it that.
Get a rebrand.
Maybe that's not the best idea. Matt Johnson might have been involved in deciding Taser. So then we're like, tasing sounds good because then they're not dead forever. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
So Taser's good too. We play that one, you know, down in Southern California where, you know, our youth pastor, he calls it body.
Okay.
So,
I think I've heard that before.
Yeah. So he plays that. That's a phenomenal game too.
Do you guys I remember when I visited you guys were playing One Night Werewolf.
Yeah.
That game,
yeah,
we played I need to bring that up here. That's so good.
Yeah, One Night Werewolf is great. It's so good. It's basically like have you played that Mafia game where it's like everyone put their heads down, everyone.
Yeah.
So it's like that, but everyone gets a card and everyone has a role. So it's like
It's way more fun.
way more fun. Where if
Yeah,
you're playing
more
Mafia,
involved.
it's just like one person's the Mafia and one person's the cop.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
everybody's got a role, and it's
Yeah.
it's pretty wild.
That sounds.
I mean,
pretty
one of the
great.
roles is like you are, I think it's called the Tanner, and you have to like convince people that you're the Mafia. Like
But
that you're
you're
the
not.
werewolf, but you're not. And
That's
the way
so
that you
funny.
win is
Yeah.
by making people think that you are. Like it's wild.
That's
It's
so
pretty
good.
fun.
I need to get that game. That's so
Yeah,
good.
that sounds pretty great.
Brianna, what's your favorite game that we do? Because there's probably games that we do that you don't know either,
Yeah.
that we do different.
Honestly, I really like shuffle buns.
Dude,
Yes,
that's a classic. Quick
yes.
Yeah.
We
Shuffle
still
buns
do
is
that.
great. I don't
Yeah.
know that I've ever sweat more in a game in shuffle buns
one. And sat on more people
and sat on more people. Oh man.
directly on them.
Yeah.
I think my favorite I played for the first time was sit down basketball. That might be after
Oh,
you.
that's
No,
a
no,
good
that
one
was us.
too.
That was
Okay,
us, yeah.
okay. I got to
basketball.
play. I always just officiate it. I played 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was
yeah.
so fun.
I love that
That's
game.
great.
Dude, I was sweating too, and you're sitting.
You're sitting. Why
Yeah,
am I
you're just
sweating
sitting
so
there,
much?
yeah.
Bro,
Why is this happening?
it's crazy. Yeah, Interstate, I think, is about the same.
Yeah.
We were sharing during lunch, too, about the lock-in. We kind of revived that.
Yeah.
There could be one coming.
Were you
Yeah,
were you a part of this lock-in?
This last one, yeah.
Explain.
Oh my gosh.
Explain from your eyes when
Oh
we
my
revealed
gosh.
it. He doesn't know much about it. Like, what was it like when you heard about it?
Yeah, like what?
So-
Yeah, just walk me through the whole thing. Real
Yeah,
quick.
walk
I
us
need to
through.
hear this.
So we had that whole conference, and I was just like, wow, that was epic. And I was sitting there, and I was like, thank you, God. That was powerful. And then I opened my eyes, and on the screen it said Interstate Lock-In. And I was like, is this real? I was like, no, this can't be real. And then I look around, and all the leaders are like, yeah, you're locked in here. You can't leave. And I was like, what?
So what? Luke called your parents, or Siggy called your parents?
So
and
no,
got it worked
we
out,
had
or
to
what?
sign up and put all of our parents' information on the sign up
we
sheet.
called their parents.
And so they called the parents for permission, and all the parents knew. And
Yeah, just
we
so
just
people on the
didn't.
internet know, the parents
The parents
we
did.
didn't
knew.
literally.
We didn't steal these kids for. Oh,
There's always like a disclaimer. Sorry
Yeah,
to interrupt
yeah,
you. Go ahead, Brianna.
all the leaders were like, yeah, don't worry. Your parents know you're safe here. You're just gonna, you can leave at 7 a.m. We're like,
There were kids that were mad, right? There were
yeah, there
actual,
were kids who were like, I need my phone right now. I'm calling my parents.
You
were
would
you
have-
one of those? Were you one of those? Like,
No.
oh man, I'm upset.
Brianna's down for anything.
Yeah, let's
She's
go.
down. But you would have been proud, dude. So the kids
I'm
would have
honestly,
been
I'm
mad.
so proud
Yeah.
that's what you did. I was telling Luke that's like a hybrid of our like kidnapping. Which
Yeah.
I mean, side note, if you're watching on the internet, like, yeah, we do kidnap kids as well. Like,
And
this
that's
is,
when YouTube took the podcast down.
So
We do, though. We actually do.
Yeah. Have you guys been a part of a kidnapping? Have you been a
We
part of that too?
have. I almost attacked Tania.
Oh,
You
nice.
were scared. You were like,
No,
whoa.
so she had her light on, okay, and I was asleep, and then Delaney is in the bed across from me, and Tania starts waking up Delaney, and Delaney's just like totally like innocently like, huh? I'm like, someone's trying to kidnap. She said, you're being kidnapped. And I was like, no, you cannot kidnap my sister. And I nearly jumped out of my bed and strangled her. And
Oh,
then I
man.
realized, like, what is Tania doing in my bedroom?
Yes.
Oh, that is so
Brought
funny.
it back.
That's
So-
great. You know,
those
it's
are the old events, man.
those are the old
big
events.
ones.
Those are the old kind of things, and we also did have parent permission for those
We did.
kind
we
of
did.
things.
Yes.
So you
Yeah.
know,
yes.
I was talking. Is Bear a youth leader?
Yep.
Mhm.
He
Bears.
is awesome.
Yep.
My favorite story for a kidnapping that we did was when we kidnapped Bear.
Yes.
You know, it was Isaiah Myers and a couple of his friends, and you know, I went and kidnapped them, Isaiah first, and all those guys. Then we get to Bear's house, and you know, they had pool noodles put on PVC pipe
Oh, yeah.
to make gladiator swords, right?
Mhm.
And I was like, all right, guys, I'm going to turn the light on and you can like, you know, like wake them up and all that kind of stuff. And what they heard is when you turn the light on, we're gonna beat the snot out of him. So they turn the light on, and just there's 4 dudes that just start wailing on Bear, and he has no idea what's happening. So he starts punching and kicking all over the place, like just terrified of what is happening. And then once things slow down, I look at him and I was like, "All right, Bear, get in the car," and he goes, "Okay." No questions. No questions.
Bear was down.
He was like, "All right, cool. Well, I just got the snot beaten out of me, and I guess we're going somewhere."
Sweet.
Bear's always down. Bear will go. Bear will go to Denny's anytime. Capture him. I'm trying to think of like the other crazy stuff. We don't do gladiator battles. That was a big thing of yours. Those swords, and like we used to do these big gladiator battles where we all had those swords. Everyone. And it's like LARPing.
It
now,
basically
like
is LARPing.
adults do it now. It wasn't big back then.
So Interstate invented LARPing.
Basically, you heard it here first.
You heard it here
guys.
first. So,
Ryan brought LARPing to the world.
oh,
Dude,
man.
Those are the good days.
So, I mean, it was one of those things where, when the reason we did all these big games in Interstate is because we wanted to make every night as epic and intense as possible. So, I mean, we went through a big season. I mean, it was a lot of work, but, it was a lot of fun.
It was so much fun. Nick was a big games guy.
Yeah.
He's been requested. We'll get Nick up here.
Let's get him.
Come on, Nick. Nick, where are you, bro?
Old Nick.
Yeah, I didn't.
What we used to call him.
I did
Old
not
Nick.
say that. Okay.
Old Nick. And the funny thing is Old Nick was younger than I currently am.
Oh.
So,
Dude, this will blow your mind. This is the saddest. This is when youth group's getting weird. So they called me old. After Nick, you actually started that. That lasted for a very long time. Yes. Then they started calling me ancient. And now, the worst thing ever, it's not like nothing. It's just like, it's not worth talking about anymore. And now I'm like, oh gosh, that is bad, actually. That's a bad sign.
Now it's too real.
Yeah. They're like, don't make fun of him. He's old. Don't say anything.
Oh, man.
I think the one camp, was it you? You were saying you got everyone calling me Old Luke at a camp with other churches. And the other church students from all over California were coming up to me and being like, "What's up, Old Luke? Yeah, we have an old guy in our youth group too. It's nice to meet you." I'm like, dude, why is this happening?
Oh, that is awesome. That is the best.
Those are the old days.
Bring it back, Old Luke.
Yeah. No. Moving on. Old Isaiah.
Old Isaiah. We could start that.
We do kind of make fun of Isaiah.
We do, yeah.
Actually, Hannah, I don't know if you remember Hannah Sue.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
So we call her old. And she's one of the youngest leaders we have. And she's like Nana Hannah, like a grandma.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Nana Hannah. I like that.
Actually, let's move on because I don't think the Interstate would end. We will talk about Interstate for this whole thing, which is we probably still will.
Yeah.
But I want to because you've been out for so long, dude.
Yeah,
You've been away. So before we get into, we have some questions from the youth group for you. But before we do that, I just want to ask you to give us a rundown of like what it looks like down there for you. Like, what are you in now? Mm-hmm. Give us speed us up to where you're at, so the kids know what you're doing now, basically.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I'm down in San Diego, North County, San Diego. I've been working with the same church for about 9 years. So I've been there. I think last time I was up, I was about to transition into being a campus pastor. So having my own little campus and kind of running that. And, the 2 years following that camp, I had the campus, and we just kind of made the decision that, this campus is growing. It's growing a lot in younger people. So we moved back and we merged back with our main campus, and I've been there as our campus pastor. So still running everything, oversee all of our staff, youth ministry, kids ministry, everything going on there, speaking on Sundays fairly often. And so my official title is like campus pastor, but really more like an executive pastor and kind of a fill-in,
doing what needs to be done.
What needs to be done right now.
So normal.
Yeah. Yeah. So same role I've had in every ministry job.
I hate to break it to you, bro. I think that's just your life. The rest of your life.
Just do everything.
Yeah. What can you do? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, then do that. All of the things.
Yeah. It's funny because I was telling how I met Luke and how I got Luke involved is, I mean, can I tell the story?
Yeah,
Do we have
yeah,
time
that's
for this?
good.
So Luke had been attending our church for months, and at Calvary, I used to be the worship leader and the youth pastor, and I'm up there every week, just crying,
Completely
to our
alone.
just like, guys, I'm all alone here. I need somebody. Does anybody know anybody who can play any instrument, anything,
flute, anything.
please, anything? I don't care. Does anybody, like, literally months of me, and Luke's just sitting there like, yeah. And then one day, his wife comes up to me, Steph, and goes, you know, my husband plays music. Which she didn't tell me she plays music and sings, but that's
true.
That's
Bro,
like,
hey,
we gotta
whoa.
expose that. Like, get her up here.
You,
Like, what's going on?
Expose that.
Expose that. But she goes, you know, my husband plays, music, right? And I literally looked at him with like a holy rage.
Yeah. The Lord, pretty much.
And I walked up to him and I was like, hey, you have been sitting here watching me for months alone, begging people to come be a part of this team with me, and you didn't tell me that you play an instrument. And he goes, oh yeah, yeah, I play music. And I was like, you're coming to rehearsal. It's on Thursday. It's not an option.
That's how I started being in ministry,
and that's how
that day.
That's how we got Luke involved in that. But it's funny because I played bass this last weekend at our church down south, and it was like a full reversal. People were like, what? You play bass? We need bass players. Like, what the? It was like a full reversal of how I met Luke.
That's amazing. So yeah, I think the jack of all trades it's important. It's an important role. I mean, what do you guys think about like how specific? Now I got deconstructing in my head so bad from our lunch talk. I don't want to go down that path. But like, how specific do we need to be with our roles? Like, I feel like church is so specific. Like, you are the single ladies over 50, like, luncheon preparer. Like, that's your role of the church, where it's like, I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Let's just riff on that, because I feel like it's good to be able to just do stuff that's not so specific.
Yeah.
There's good to that, though, too. I don't know. What do you guys think? Yeah.
I mean, I got my thoughts, but go ahead. I want to hear yours.
Well, I wouldn't really say that I would advocate for like very specific roles. I mean, the church is a body and everyone has different talents. So if that talent applies to you, I mean, I would say if that's your calling, do it. Yeah. But I feel like if you had a rigid role, you can really fall into pattern, and I don't think that's what you should have for ministry. I don't think it should be like a rigid pattern that you can get bored of.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting.
For sure. I mean, I agree with that. I think that it's easy for churches who have multiple staff members to create silo ministries where it's just like, this is my thing and this is just it. This is what I do. And this is like to kind of just live in your own world. But I think it's important that we recognize as people who work for the church, understanding that we have the privilege of working at a church.
Yeah.
Like it is amazing. It is one of the best jobs ever, but we serve Jesus.
Yeah.
So, and we serve Jesus, and however that looks, I mean, we cannot be so set on like, I only do this at the church. Like, we need to have a servant's heart of like, I will serve Jesus however it looks.
Yeah.
Whatever that looks like, whatever needs to be done.
Yeah.
I'll serve Jesus.
At all times.
Yeah. At all times. So it's like, if my title's worship leader, but you know what, I need to help out somewhere else, then I'm going to go help where it's needed. So, and I think, like you said, I think some of us have gifts. We have gifts in certain areas where it's like, I may be better as a youth leader than I am a children's leader, or I may be better, as a small group leader than I am a youth leader, or all these kind of things. So I think, you can't be so fluid that like you don't give anyone specific roles,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
but you have to be open
Yeah.
to serving where you're needed.
I think the interstate model from the beginning is just a bunch of churches, and the leadership is so strange. It's like we're all kind of good at certain things, but like nobody really is the anything. We're just like, what needs to be done tonight? Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do this. And
Well, it's because at the end of the day, like with interstate, like what's the purpose? Like what are we here for? It's not to boost anyone's ego or to boost anyone's ministry or anything like that. It's to lead people to a life-changing relationship with Jesus.
that's it. There's nothing in it. There's nobody has anything in it like to gain.
Yeah.
Like there's no promotion. There's no like, dude.
Yeah, I really like the interstate model.
Yeah. It's not new. Like there's organizations that do like citywide youth ministries. I've learned this since then. To me, it was like,
really?
there's like organizations that do like, hey, there's youth group this week, and it's just anyone can come. Like, I can't think of them right now. I think New Life is one. New Life is an organization. I think that's what it's called. But yeah, it's not like new, like totally, but it is revolutionary. I think.
Yeah.
And it's rare. I mean, it's rare. It's rare to have a bunch of churches in a city that not only do ministry together but genuinely love each other.
Yes.
So I think that a problem that I've seen with churches is that they're very territorial of like, these are my people. This is my youth ministry. It's like, man, no. We are the capital C church, and we all need to be fighting for unity.
Yeah. That's amazing.
So.
It's true. It is true. We're doing it here. You started. I mean, you, Matt, Nick, and you guys all started it. But the adults really, the kids know this. The adults love each other. It's so good. Like my best friends.
Yeah.
Are just people that go to other churches. I
know. I mean, as a when we started Interstate, I was young. I was like 20 when we started, and it was so good and so healthy that my best friends were other youth pastors in the community, and people that were a little further along, like old Nick, and. Old Nick was ancient, and he had the ancient wisdom to pour it. But for real, like no, I wouldn't be who I am today. Had Nick not come and poured into me and reined me in, because those pranks were running rampant.
Yes.
So
you might have been arrested
Nick,
at this point,
I almost was a couple times. Like it was maybe a story for another time. But man.
Second episode.
Yeah, second episode. Yeah. Stupid things Ryan did at Interstate.
It's true though. All of you share the common ministry, but then you're living different experiences, so you can, and different life experiences. Nick was married, so he could like share that with us, and dude, the leadership now is so diverse. It's like it's got every type of adult like you could ever imagine. It's so healthy. Like the kids, I think the kids genuinely like it. Like to have it not look so uniform, like every leader is 20, fresh out of college, or like it does not look like that at Interstate at all.
Yeah, no.
Well, what I think is cool about Interstate right now too is, Matt and I were talking about this. It's cool that it's like the next generation, like kind of the main founding people. Most of us are gone.
Yes.
And the fact that Interstate is still happening and it's taking on new flavors. Is awesome, and it's cool to see God work in the next generation, and because we are in the next generation of Interstate right now. This isn't,
Absolutely. I wasn't part of it. Paul and I are the last. Yeah. And we weren't even a part of the original crew at all. So the younger team right now is amazing. It's amazing. So. Let me get to some questions, because oh my gosh, I'm sorry. We're gonna take this whole time.
I told you I was gonna talk.
No,
forever. I
think I don't know why that felt important, but it's like I think that does lead to burnout, like the tunnel vision, and just like you're just like, I'm the lead. I'm gonna give my 500th sermon on a Sunday because that's all I do. It's like maybe do something different for a month. I don't know, something to think about. Like maybe go hang out with the youth kids. Bro, that could be epic. I have a really good question. I have a bunch of good questions. I have this one question. I'm a student not named. How dare you?
My guess is that question is probably coming from Isaiah Myers.
I think most of the bad or good ones are
My
from...
question back is, what gives you the right? What gives you the right? I will say that.
We could ask you that every time. How dare you? I really like this one. Could you? Might be tough, but I know you can do it, bro. Oof. Can you give us your come to Jesus moment in an abbreviated, not really interstate or anything, just where you met the Lord?
Where I met the Lord. So I, if you guys are going to Winter Rally, I'll talk a little bit more about my story this weekend. But I was not a Christian growing up. My family wasn't Christian. I think we probably culturally identified as Christian, but we weren't real Christians. And, I was starting to go down a path that wasn't good. And in middle school, I met a couple Christian guys, and those guys loved me so stinking well. I mean, they were just so different, and they invited me to a Bible study. And full disclosure, I went to this Bible study because there was a girl that I was really into that went to the Bible study.
Yep.
So I went to that Bible study after school with the junior high pastor at a pizza place and started going. And, I didn't know anything. I remember, we're walking at 7th grade guys walking across the street. They're like, dude, who's your favorite Bible character? And one of the guys like, dude, I love Samson. Samson's jacked. He's like, if I was any Bible character, I'd be Samson. And then the other one's like, no, dude, I'd be David, and David would deck you and you'd be gone. They're like, Ryan, who's yours? And I was like, oh, who do I know from the Bible? Only one person. Jesus is pretty awesome. And they're like, just like a mood killer, vibe killer thing. And I was like, man, I don't know anything about this.
Yeah.
So I started going to that, and then I went to a winter camp. Got invited to a winter camp, and my mom's like, all right, first I got to meet this creepy pastor that gets pizza with junior high kids every week. I got to meet him. What's going on with that? So she met him. She, okayed us going to this camp, and I went to this camp, and I heard the gospel really for the first time. Yeah. And I had always known that I felt that I was missing something. Yeah. That something wasn't right. I was missing something. And I remember the speaker presenting the gospel, and I felt like I was like, how do you know? How do you know this is where I'm at? And gave my life to the Lord. That's at amazing. The camp.
Dude, camps are so clutch for that. Just to get real. Feels safe. And you're going to share more at conference, so we'll move on, but that's amazing. Yeah. A lot of good history there. Good to talk about. This question I love. Actually, it's your question, Brianna. Does your son still play drums? Because you mentioned that when you were a speaker. You actually showed us a video of he's a toddler playing a groove. What's the update on that?
So
you can say, how many kids do you have?
So I've got 3 kids.
Yeah.
So I've got 3 kids right now, and I got a 2-year-old daughter. I have a 4-year-old son and a 6-year-old son. Oh yeah. And my 6-year-old, the week that he turned 2, was shredding on the drums, full on time. What you don't see in the video is me playing the guitar,
what is going on right now?
What is happening right now? And he is he even did a little fill. Yeah. And then gets in there. And, I think he unfortunately does not play the drums anymore.
Whoa, shock. He can come back, dude. It's in him.
So I think it's one of those things where I want him to love it.
Yeah.
I want him to love it.
Sure.
And if I force him to do it, he's not going to love it.
No.
But no, he's not playing drums. He's actually playing flag football right now.
Let's go.
So he's starting to get into that and starting to grow. But cool. He's got the music gene in him. It'll come back.
It will. It will.
It'll be.
He'll get the spark.
Yeah.
And he'll have it.
Yeah.
That's so good. It's good to have an update. Yeah. I like this one too. Is there an event that you didn't think God was in at the time, but then later on you saw his hand in it? So like something that you did or came across that you're like, what is this? But then later on you saw how the Lord kind of wrapped it back up for good. Or that's a deep question.
That is a deep question.
You need to recall your whole life right now.
Let me think about every event that I've ever done.
It's just a good question. I've been thinking about this question.
Are you talking like a youth event or just like a life event? Or
Maybe just any that you can think of. Yeah, youth or life. I can think of maybe, yeah.
So, I mean, I can, I'll tell this one. You know, when I left Calvary Dixon, I left to go help out a friend with a church plant.
Yeah.
And that's why I left. And I went down there, you know, the guy who was helping out, great guy. You know, I was helping him out and, you know, it just didn't work. The church plant just didn't work. And It was like, man, I thought that this is what God was calling me to. Mm-hmm. But now I'm kind of hearing maybe I heard wrong.
Right.
And I think, you know, I couldn't see it in the moment. And, you know, and then I looked back up and I looked at Luke leading Interstate. Mm-hmm. And to me, it was like, okay, yeah, it may not be what I thought, but I see Luke stepping up. It was time. It was time for Luke to step up and to step into that role and for him to do that. And, you know, I felt like in the moment, like maybe I did the wrong thing. And I kind of went through a season of like, I don't know what to do. Where I went from full-time ministry for, you know, 4 years and then a couple years as a missionary before that into like, I don't know what I'm going to do. So I'm going to start working at Nordstrom.
Yeah.
And, you know, serving at a church doing sound. So I started doing that. And, you know, I think in that experience, it showed me that God works even when we feel like things aren't working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And seeing the fruit of, I mean, where we are at right now, we're sitting in Luke's house, you know, filming a podcast, you know,
for the youth group
that you started leading 10 years ago, you know, kind of a thing. And it's like, man, that was so perfect for you. And that was God's will. And, you know, had I not left, you wouldn't have had that opportunity. So it's true. Like, man, that was clear to me that this was God's will. And then, you know, had I not left, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to be a part of the church that I'm currently a part of, which has just been incredible. I mean, it's been an awesome experience.
That's amazing. Dude, that's so good.
So,
and you're with you got your parents. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Your parents are probably pumped.
It's great. It's great to be around family, especially with 3 kids.
Get your
and I would say as far as like a ministry event, I'll just say this one real quick. I mean, I didn't realize this was a success until about 20 minutes ago when we were talking about it, but we hosted a lock-in with 115, maybe 120 kids that showed up at this lock-in, and literally the whole night I was just like in discipline mode. Like kids were like graffitiing the bathrooms, you know, that we had just so much drama that I remember after that being like, we're not doing this ever again.
Yeah.
And that was the first night we had Luke actually share his testimony. And I remember like, oh my gosh, this event was a failure. Like it was a failure. It was a failure.
I got heckled. I was being heckled for telling my testimony. I was like sharing intimate stuff. They're like, wow, you're an idiot. Yeah. I'm like, what?
Wrap it up, buddy. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. But he shared his testimony, and he just shared it with me today. He's like, man, that was the event that I really connected with the student, and I still am connected to that student to this day from this event. So I think that, you know, there are often things that we can perceive as like, wow, this was a failure. But God is a redemptive God, and he redeems so much.
Dude.
Amen.
That's so true. It's all for his glory. Even he works our mistakes even. Yeah. Even when we screw it up, he works it for good. I know that we're running out of time for this segment, but we're going to ask one more question because this one, I want to do this because you did this to me. So we're doing this. What's your most embarrassing memory during when you lived here? What was some embarrassing thing that happened to you? Yes, because when Ryan used to have all the leaders Even leaders come and share their most embarrassing moment in front of the whole youth group.
Oh no. This is the next level though, because
Bro,
this is not the whole
is
youth
for
group.
YouTube,
This
bro.
this is the interwebs. I mean, this is
This is how the Lord amps it up. You know what though? You don't have to. Yeah, you can. You're right. This is the internet. So let's. And you're a youth pastor. You were a youth pastor. So crazy things can happen. An embarrassing memory from interstate times.
Okay.
Up here.
I'll tell this one. This is definitely maybe one of my most embarrassing moments in life. Have you guys met Pastor Greg? You know Pastor Greg?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
cool. So we had done a lock-in. I had my friends up from Northern. I can't believe I'm telling this story. Had my friends up from San Diego. They came up and, they did. One of them was a Christian rapper. The other one had like an electronic worship band because that was cool back in the day. And so they're up and we stayed up all night. It was Saturday to Sunday. And then they led worship on Sunday morning. Mm-hmm. So we just stayed up all the way through church. We did church. And then I thought that everyone was gone. And it was just me and my boys. And so then someone played some like hype music or something. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to take my shirt off and like swing it around my head. Because I thought nobody was there. So I'm like swinging it and just like being so dumb. So dumb. And I look at my buddy. He's like, yeah. And I was like, and I look behind me, and Pastor Greg and his wife Donna are standing behind me, just dude. Like,
yes, dude.
What is happening right now? And that, I don't know that I've ever been more embarrassed in my entire life.
I can picture every bit of that.
Yeah.
It doesn't even surprise me at all.
No, I'm embarrassed just telling this story right now. Like, man, it was so embarrassing. And the worst thing about it is that Greg and Donna, and Greg goes, well, I'm heading out. Just no, that's it. Just, I'm heading out.
Yeah, like that. I've seen it all. It's time to go home now.
And we never spoke about it ever again.
You want to know, dude? I remember the worship the next day. It was good. Yeah. Those guys were good.
They were very good.
Even on no sleep.
Yep.
Those guys were awesome.
Yeah. Last
segment is really good because it's just general. Brianna, you can talk. Ryan, you can talk. We do the cards, conversation cards. So Ryan, you get to pick any card you want. It's teen, Christian, or family. That's the theme. Mm-hmm. And then you read it out loud, and then we all discuss. Give our points. Like, no right answers.
Do I only
get
answers. One card? We're only doing one card.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how much I talk. Maybe I'll slow it down. Yeah.
Half of a card.
You know, I like. Let's do family.
Let's do it, bro. I love family.
Okay, ready?
Oh, we don't know the cards.
This card says, Luke, what is the most embarrassing story?
Dude, no way, bro. You already did that to me.
Oh man. So it says, does it matter if a person makes a moral or immoral choice if no one ever knows?
Bro, what? Oh
wow, that's deep.
Yeah, let's just
so
take
we don't
the
know
depth
these
down.
We don't know these questions at all.
And we're talking about family, so is this like in our family or just in?
I think I don't know how that's a family question, but that's. What do you think, Brianna? We'll let you start because you're the youngest.
Well, I mean, God says that even what you do when no one's looking matters. So if you make a choice like that, and no one ever knows about it, I mean, God does. So.
Yeah. Reminds me of that thing where it's like you didn't sin against me, you sinned against God, or like Pharaoh. I think it was Pharaoh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's good. But I mean, why though? Like, why does it matter though? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I know why it matters, but like,
well, yeah.
I think for me, it just matters. Yeah, like you said, like it's between you and Lord. So if at the very bottom line, you have to be accountable to the Lord with it. It's you're gonna carry it. God is a loving and long suffering God. He'll forgive you and move on, but you probably won't.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, it's a hard one, bro.
It's a good question. I think immorality and sin and all that kind of stuff. I think we got to understand why why is it sin? You know, why is
Yeah.
it sin? I think once we understand that, it's easier to understand why we should avoid it and why it does matter, even if no one knows. And, you know, one of the things that I heard that I've said before at camps and stuff like that I've done is sin isn't bad because God says it's bad. Sin is, you know, God says it's bad because it's bad for you.
Right.
You know, so I think when we make immoral decisions, those are decisions that are bad for us.
Yeah.
They're bad for us as spiritual beings. They're bad for us maybe physically. And those things are things that we should avoid. And even if no one knows, it's like, okay, if no one has to know that I eat junk food every single night,
Right.
Yeah.
but it's still bad for me.
Yeah.
You know, kind of
Yeah.
a thing. It's like that kind of thing where it's
gonna kill you.
It's gonna kill you, and then you're right. You know, God does know. God sees our heart. He knows what's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
Like, we can't hide anything from Him. But when we make decisions that are immoral, you know, those are bad decisions
Yeah.
that affect us.
Yeah. I feel like it affects, I don't know how to, I know it's in scripture vaguely, but it does affect the church as well. Like in your private space, if you're sinning, it somehow affects the church. Like, I don't know how that works. It's a little mystical, but like, I think it's true. I think like if you're harboring something, it's even more than you. But the Bible does say like the lust, like you sin not only against you, it's like against your body or against the other. So yeah, that's a good one. Let's pick another one.
Well,
let's pick
hold on.
another question. Oh my gosh.
just before we do, like,
Yeah.
there's the flip side of that. It said if someone makes a moral decision, does it matter if you make the moral decision? So like, does it matter if we're doing what's right
Yeah.
if nobody's looking?
Bro,
I would say
that's
yeah.
probably even more important, really, because we're probably sinning right now. Actually,
Yeah, we're not even
Yeah.
doing what's right.
Yeah. I think that's probably even more important is like, yeah, doing the right choices in private.
Yeah.
Like seeking the Lord, worshiping the Lord in private, you guys, is so
Yeah.
important. I just pray for that. Like, it's good to come together, but like, I pray that, you know, everyone has a moment of realness with God alone, because it's so good, first of all, but like, all that matters is Him, and He knows it. And if you know it
Yeah.
and it's good, that's what real Christian leaders look like to me.
Yeah.
Guys
Yeah.
I trust, the gals I trust, I believe they go home and seek the Lord.
Yeah.
That's
Totally.
Yep.
And the people that I don't run with, I mean, I don't say it, but like, I just don't know where they're at with that,
Yeah.
essentially. That's kind of harsh, but it's
No, I mean,
Sort of
that's-
my-
yeah, that's
yeah.
that's real. I mean, it's tough to get advice from a Christian leader that is mostly Christian just at church, you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
But like you said, with that may not go home and have that seek the Lord, worship the Lord at home.
Yeah.
It's important.
The
Yeah, I mean-
trustworthy people
Yeah.
are the ones who have been through it and can give you that, and you know that they've been doing the right thing even when no one's looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to trust someone who you only see like at church just worshiping, and then you see them at the store and they're cussing at their kid or something like that.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
not going to trust any advice from them because you'd want them to take their advice first.
Yeah.
Right.
So if
Yeah.
if there's someone doing good behind the scenes, I mean, I'd say it's clear.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
from the
for
people
sure.
I hang out with, it's clear. Those
Yeah.
are the people I trust.
For
That's
sure.
so good.
All right. Well, I grabbed
Yes,
the Christian card, and this is
Oh boy. Even crazy.
no. This is like gonna dramatically change the tone. So
Okay.
let's go
Yes,
about this.
yes.
So, what is one thing that you are very excited about right now?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I
Alright.
needed that card in my
Yes.
life right now.
Tomorrow.
Holy cow.
Tomorrow.
Dude, tomorrow. Well, go ahead. Explain what we're doing. Because we actually
Tomorrow,
hinted.
winter rally. I mean, 7 churches coming together, youth groups just coming to worship God, high schoolers. It's pretty. I'm pretty stoked about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
7 churches. How many we got in Dixon? I mean, 4, right?
Yeah. It's going to be epic.
It's gonna be epic.
That's good.
It's gonna be epic.
The
Yeah.
worship, the speaker.
Yeah.
So Ryan is speaking for us tomorrow. We hinted to that earlier, but we don't do winter rallies a lot. It's a lot to organize, but
Yeah.
I'm so excited. Matt Johnson is hosting and at his church, so anytime we can get back together, it's going to be great, dude.
Yeah.
We're so excited.
Yeah, I mean, I've been so looking forward and so excited about just being back up here.
Yeah.
You know, I think that there will always be a special place for this area in my heart. You know, I love Dixon. I love being around here. I love, the people. And I think what I've been most excited about is hanging out with Luke, hanging out with Matt, seeing Paul, seeing, my old friends.
Yes, dude.
And doing ministry together, because I think one of the sweetest times of my life was doing ministry with these guys.
Yeah.
I mean, with my best friends, and it's just exciting to be back. So I'm looking forward to it too. I'm actually loving this right now. I feel like this even right here is like one of the highlights of the year so far. So
yeah, this is so exciting.
Yeah.
I'm actually excited that my youngest one is 4. Dude, that's a huge milestone. We're having fun. We go out and live our life, but now like she'll be riding her scooter and I'll be skateboarding next to her, and she'll look back at me and she'll be like, "Dad, are you having fun right now?" And I'm like, "Dude, I'm having so much fun." Actually, so having my youngest one grow up a little bit is like the most exciting thing for me. So,
are you riding a scooter too? Or are you riding a skateboard?
I'm on a skateboard still, dude.
I'm surprised you ever get back on a skateboard.
Dude, I'm ready,
Luke
man.
had the worst accident on a skateboard I have ever seen in my entire life.
I'm back at it, man.
Oh.
No tricks though.
Yeah.
No tricks.
Yeah, that was. We won't get into the details because I still don't sleep at night from that. This was 10 years ago, and I haven't slept since.
I wish I could see those random teenagers at the park that saw that. There was just 2 random teenagers. I broke my ankle really bad skateboarding, and there were 2 random teenagers there that saw it, and they were traumatized. Like,
I think everyone else was more traumatized than you because you were like remotely calm. Like you
yeah.
were like,
I'm pretty sure I was in shock.
You were like, I think I came over and sat with your kids while your wife went
to the ER.
To the ER with you.
Oh, that was bad,
but,
dude.
Man, it was wild. But anyways, that's awesome.
Crazy.
That's crazy that you've got a 4-year-old.
I know, and you do too.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
So, it just happens.
And Isaiah has a kid too.
Dude, that
all
is crazy.
3 generations.
That's wild.
Have similar kids. That's actually crazy.
That's so funny. That's awesome.
I wish we had Isaiah. We're gonna have Isaiah on as a guest soon.
Yeah.
But I wish I had him on today. But I don't think it would have worked out. I think it just would have unraveled.
Yeah.
You guys probably would end up wrestling.
Yeah, probably.
Cameras knock over. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah, I mean, Isaiah has been on the tail end of a lot of my pranks. So
Yes.
I just.
Yeah. Tomorrow night's going to be epic. Tomorrow night. I think we're going to move on from the cards because this question I wanted to ask you. We ask this every podcast at the end. Who, if you could have any living and do not hold back, like no limit, any guest come on the Interstate specific podcast, who would it be and why? And we're all going to answer that. You checked off like 10 people's boxes, so we got to move on.
Oh,
you're off the list.
Okay.
Yeah, now you're off the
now
list.
Now I'm done. They're going to be like, well, that was a letdown.
Wow, we really put all our eggs into that basket.
That was it, huh? That was the one. All right, wow.
It's a good question, though. Brianna, you got to think of one, too. So.
Yeah, I got to think of one.
Yeah. I want Nick. Maybe I've said that before, but I'm still saying it because we're just saying it and then having the Lord work his magic. Come on, Nick. Someone send this to Nick. Put Nick Pokswinski in the comments. Just Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Nick.
I would just 100%. Have him be alone, just talking.
Yes.
We'd all listen and be like, oh my gosh, I got to go get right with the Lord.
Yes, 100%. I mean, just an hour podcast.
With just Nick.
With Nick.
He should just have a YouTube channel.
Just do it.
Yeah. It's just called Nick.
Yeah, just called Nick. The Nick.
I would watch it. Yeah. Mine's Nick. Easy. What about you, Brianna? We'll let Ryan think a little bit. Celebrity. Wait, I remember one of yours, Lauren Daigle.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that,
wow.
Actually.
Okay.
That was big. I was like, okay. I'm down.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got one that I think would be fun on an interstate podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's done it, but I think it would be cool to get either one of the lead pastors from around the area. I think it would be super cool to get Greg Brock and to hear his perspective of interstate and how it's changed over the years and how how it's impacted him and his relationship with other churches.
That's a good one.
So
people have asked for some of the lead pastors for sure. That's so good. We need to do that. That's doable.
Yeah.
What about you, Brianna? Someone said the mayor.
The mayor.
Get the mayor of Dixon on here.
Let's go.
I was
Get him out.
Actually, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Kids would have good questions.
Yeah.
I'm down. What about you, Brianna? Anybody?
I don't know. I mean, I honestly kind of want to get like other churches from different places here in California and just talk to them and kind of bring up the idea of what we have going for us. And I mean, my grandparents' church, both of them, actually, both Churches of Christ. One's in Carmichael and one's in, it's actually off Mack Road in Sacramento.
Yeah.
It's one of the most crazy streets out there.
Yeah.
But they got a Church of Christ planted right there, and I would love to just,
have like an elder or someone that you know from there come on.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
my
a good
mom's
idea.
best friend's dad is actually the pastor there, and I would love to just talk to him on our podcast. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Mike Mendez.
Dude. Okay, a couple people, before I forget, I want Gail, who is your grandmother. Gail, you're coming on the podcast. Someone send this to Gail right now.
I'll just text her.
Yes. And I also want Lucci. So Lucci, we filmed a whole podcast with Lucci, and it was epic, and it got messed up. So Lucci, we'll have you back.
Yeah.
She said she would come back, so we got to remember to do that. We're like having a meeting right now. It's not a podcast anymore. It's like a production meeting.
When can we make
You're
it
like,
happen?
what is going on? What is happening? But anyways, dude, Ryan, thank you, man.
Yeah, thanks so much. It's been an honor. I will come on anytime you invite me.
Let's go, man. I think we should do, like I said, like a digital like meetup. Just talk theology,
honestly,
get deep.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to talk
All right.
theology, talk leadership.
Yes,
I'm in.
like a youth leader like workshop, like a once a month. Dude,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man. Why don't we could do it?
Let's do it.
Technology is there, so dude.
And then on the plus side, we would talk a lot more.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be great. It would be great.
We'll get in touch more when our kids get a little older.
Yeah, it's pretty wild right now.
All right, well, that's going to do it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you find this stuff useful. And yeah, we'll see you on the next episode. And thank you for watching.